Good morning. Happy Monday. So week 3 of online instruction. I think we're rocking it. Keep your questions coming. Email me, or even some of you have been doing those messages just right on Google Classroom. I try to check that every day. Heads up that if you're doing your work over the weekend, it might take a little bit longer time for me to get back to you. Monday through Thursday are school days. My computer's always up. I'm always working on it. I shoot messages back right away. We'll still do the Edge Elastic on Thursday at 1. So if you do a lot of your work over the weekend, you probably want to make sure that you're looking over the content before that, so that if there are any questions, you can hop on and ask that, because it's a great place for me to answer your questions. So we have 2 lessons this week. We're factoring trinomials, which is fun, and then we're going to review the 3 factoring things that we've done so far. So last week you did GCF, and you did the difference of squares. Today you're going to do a trinomial, and then the next lesson will be just reviewing all of those. Okay, so let's do it. If you haven't yet done the warm-up on this, that's the first thing you want to do. So we're just foiling for these. So we get x squared plus 5x plus x plus 5. And then when we add those middle terms, we get x squared plus 6x plus 5. And then m squared plus 6m minus 4m, because of that minus 4, minus 24. And we put these together, we get m squared plus 2m minus 24. And then for this one, k squared minus 3k minus 7k minus 21, k squared minus 10k minus 21. So we are going to factor this form of trinomial right here. Mainly, you just need to know that there's no number in front of your x squared. To do that, what we're going to look for, because we're going to take this and turn it back into these, where you have your 2 binomials. What you need to look for is 2 integers, so 2 numbers, that add to b and multiply to c. So looking at this one, what 2 integers have a product of 12, multiply to 12, and add up to 7? So it's 3 and 4. So we would write it as x plus 3 times x plus 4. And when you FOIL that back out, we would get, you don't have to FOIL them normally. That's just something you can do to check your work. So when we FOIL it, we would get x squared plus 4x plus 3x plus 12. And then we added those middle terms together. And is that the same as that original one? Yep, so we did it right. So I'm just going to go through a couple of each of the sets. The reason why they're broken up into sets is because of the adding and subtracting, because it makes a little bit of a difference of how you solve it. When it's addition, it's really easy, because it's just going to be multiply to 20 and add to 9. So that one's going to be 4 and 5. So it'll be m plus 4 times m plus 5. But then when you come down here to this, where your term is negative, if you're multiplying to make a negative, you're obviously going to have one negative, one positive, right? And then if you're adding those, you're going to almost be subtracting, because opposites subtract away from each other. So if I'm multiplying to make a negative 18 and adding to make a positive 3, I'm going to need a positive 6 and a negative 3. Does that kind of make sense? 6 times negative 3 is a negative 18. But 6 plus negative 3 is a positive 3. And you can FOIL that right back out and you'll see it works. This one right here, I always have questions on what multiplies to make a negative 6 but adds to make a positive 3, or a positive 1, I just gave it to you, is 3, positive 3, and negative 2. Okay. The next set then, that's set 3 here, what multiplies to make negative 3 and adds to make a negative 2. That's just like the previous set, but now your bigger number's got to be negative. So it'd be a minus 3 times a plus 1. So negative 3 times positive 1 is a negative 3, but negative 3 plus 1 is a negative 2. And then we come back to where the second term is positive, but the middle term is going to be negative. So for this one, you're going to have 2 negatives, because a negative times a negative is a positive. But a negative plus a negative would leave your number negative. So we're multiplying to make positive 24 and adding to make negative 11. So that's going to be negative 8 and negative 3. Mixed practice has just a little bit of all of those 4 sets. And then down here, you're going to take a GCF out first. So if I'll do this first one with you. You take out a 4, you'll have k squared plus 3k plus 2. What multiplies to make 2 and adds to make 3? It's going to be 2 and 1, right? So I'll leave my 4, and then I'll have k plus 2 times k plus 1. This one maybe has a harder GCF. I'll get you started with that. You're going to have a 5, and it looks like a y, right? So then factor your GCF and then find your 2 binomials. All right, I buzzed through that really fast, so hit me with any of your questions as you work through them.